This is the Tianmen Mountain, and it's one of the most magnificent stretches of road in the world. If you like hairpins, you're gonna absolutely love it. If you couldn't tell by the name or the severe landscape, this is based on a road in China, and is strikingly similar to the real thing. At the top, you start beneath the colossal Heaven's Gate and are immediately thrown into the fray. This 11-kilometer stretch of pavement snakes its way down the mountain in the most Chinese way possible, as it was seemingly built without health and safety in mind. It's pretty narrow, almost to a fault, and there are numerous unseen bends which you have to loop the car through, all whilst trying to dodge sheer cliff faces and keeping the back end under control over the various humps and camber changes. And most importantly, the asphalt concertina is back on itself 100 times. In fact, Tianmen Mountain has a grand total of 99 hairpins. For reference, Irohazaka, the Japanese mountain road infamous for its liberal use of acute bends, has less than half of that. However, you may have noticed that this mod isn't perfect all round, and doesn't have the same level of polish as the previously mentioned Irohazaka. If the aesthetics of your roadways are of importance to you, Tianmen isn't especially appealing, despite the geography of epic proportions. The textures aren't of too high a quality. In fact, the real-life version's road looks nothing like this. There are also some holes in between the road and some grass sections. And in addition, some of the walls have repeating textures, which creates this weird tiling effect. In a similar vein, the trees used aren't of the quality we've been treated to with all these new mods coming out recently. But despite all this, when you're blasting down this road, you don't really notice it. Besides, if you can manage to look past a slightly antiquated appearance, which are reminiscent of old school Assetto mods, you're rewarded with a more than enjoyable driving experience. Now, I know what you're thinking. Does the Tianmen Mountain have anything else to offer other than hairpins? Well, not only does this road have an abundance of the ultimate corner, but there are also many other interesting features that make this drive a unique one. But before we get onto those and this absolute tarmac spaghetti, let me take up to 10 seconds of this video to ask you to consider liking and subscribing if you're enjoying the video so far. Only around 20% of my viewers are actually subscribed, so I would really appreciate it. Thanks. This absolute jumble of the grey stuff is one of Tianmen's most recognisable features, and is almost reminiscent of Nanamagari, which I checked out a few months ago. It starts off with a single hairpin, but soon evolves into open, double apex corners, which really does shake things up, and can catch you off guard the first time you drive it. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm not drifting any of these corners, it's because my wheel is broken and doesn't have force feedback anymore. Rest in pieces. However, the cool features don't end there. There are a couple of claustrophobic tunnels which add to the cacophony of dangerous driving on this trail, especially the ones that feature not only on bends but also on elevation changes. There are also sections in which the pavement is embossed into the rock, and it hangs over you, which is quite a strange feeling, especially in VR. Although it's an awesome experience to drive the road that S's around and in between the rock, and catch glimpses of the road you'll soon be hooning, seemingly suspended on the cliff face ahead. It almost makes Tianmen Mountain feel like a fantasy road that was purely a figment of someone's imagination. But no, this actually exists. Following this, there's also parts of the road that falls between two spars of rock, which suspiciously appears as though they tried to make a tunnel that then collapsed in on itself. But it doesn't end there. If you're driving a BMW, there's a lovely car park at the gondola you can use to get some donuts in, or just take in the view. Past this point, your average speed picks up severely, with long, fast downhill straights broken up by kinks in the road that you have to thread your car through. And as you reach the temple at the bottom of this monstrous mountain, you can finally turn around and look at the behemoth of rock that you just ascended. And it's at this point you'll want to drive back up again, just so you can gawk at the incredible views. But I'll leave that part up to you. If you like the look of this road, you should check out this video, in which I preview Nanamagari, which was mentioned previously in this video. It's a Japanese mountain road which, in my opinion, is another of the most magnificent stretches of road in the world.